Guess who's back, bitches? Mr. Foxy I Refuse podcast. If you would have told me in 1994, 1995, while we were watching the music videos for Notorious B.I.G.'s Big Papa and the One More Chance remix, that this lady over here that was in the hot tub with Puffy will be suing this lady over here that's singing backgrounds on One More Chance remix, I would have been like, you out your goddamn mind. All right, you white motherfuckers, all eyes on me. This is the I Refuse podcast. I'm Mr. Foxy I Refuse podcast. Ooh, I was this close. I was really this close. I had to dust off the mic, come back up in here, and talk about this. I know I'm a couple of hours late, but I know some shit or have some insight that other people do not. This really boggles my mind that it has gotten to this point in friendships. It's gotten to this point in business. It's gotten to this point, this stage in our lives. Not mine, because I know better. But in the shadow of that man being in jail, things have really gone down. Things are getting exposed. This is just another peg in the whole situation. So we have here Misa suing Mary J. Blige, is what Vibe.com is saying, for $5 million over what y'all have, what the Bird app has presumed is a street corner rapper by the name of Vado. Vado is on Mary's production or label or whatever, but he's also managed by Misa, right? I couldn't tell you. I couldn't name 5 Vado songs. But he was on Mary J's last album. So I was like, okay, maybe there's something to this. So Misa started managing him back in 2023. Then signed with Mary's label later on. Apparently, he did a whole album that Misa claims Mary is not releasing. On top of that, Misa's claiming that Mary has been having conversations with Vado without Misa. Word on the curb is that Misa and Vado are dating, and that allegedly Mary J is dating her bodyguard, who doesn't like Vado. I feel like that's a little detail, but that's a big detail. And it's so unfortunate, right? Because Misa and Mary go back to the early 90s by way of Puffy, right? Puffy executive produced Mary J. Blige's second album, My Life. Misa was Puffy's high school girlfriend, whom he ultimately ended up leaving for Kim Porter. I'm pretty sure there was some overlap because Kim was with Albie Shore. Puffy was at Uptown. Right, and you've probably seen the Hulu Diddy documentary shit. So, you got that going on, right? When I read the rest of the Vibe article, and then I saw some of y'all comments on the Bird app, I was like, this sounds oddly familiar. Back in 1994, 1995, Misa, they say Misa managed Case, the R&B singer. Now, those of us that have seen the unsung on Case know that Case, while he had a long-term girlfriend, got tangled up with Mary J. Blige while recording that album that he was doing. And I'm like, please don't tell me, please don't tell me on Beyonce's internet in 2025 that we're still doing this in our 50s. Now you gotta remember, she's currently on tour. The Gratitude Tour or the Thank You for My Fans Tour, looking at the very least, indifferent about being on stage. A lot of y'all pay y'all good money. She got the audience singing most of the songs. She's not even fully vested in her traffic signal dance that she's been doing for the last 40 years. Listen, I love Mary J. Love her music. There is no tighter catalog, female R&B, really male R&B catalog than Mary J. Blige's. Those first 4 albums, over. But those of us that have been outside for the longest time, the North remembers that she somehow, the people say, has managed to end up in an agreement having to pay her ex-husband, allegedly, who allegedly was Fubla line with one of her former female artists, allegedly, which spun out of a triangle situation. Now, I'm telling y'all, whether you are 20, 30, 40 something years old, it's a slippery slope when you invite into your marriage a third party. But also, on top of that, the third party is supposed to be a professional artist associated with your spouse. Younger, tighter, smaller, more tender than your wife. And I'm not even going to touch how the two of them got to be together. I think I even touched on the podcast, allegedly. So, here we are, probably like 3 rounds of the same situation. It's the same situation in different font, right? It is so, first of all, it's tacky. You know, nothing entirely against Misa. She really, on top of that, being really good friends with Mary J. Blige, she also styled her for many, many years, along with some other folks too. And that's in parallel to the management company and all that other stuff. And, I often say on the I Refuse podcast, the concept of the ride or die, the do or die, and the consequences that come with that. Prime example, Biggie's daughter and her baby father. I talked about that situation 2 seasons ago on the I Refuse podcast. That, that your day one, there's got to be some kind of line or something. There's too much mixing and mingling. The Case situation happened. I wouldn't even go as far as to say that Case got taken advantage of, because Case was as much a participant as the other 2 women. But it made me wonder, like, it can't just be Mary, right? And for both of y'all to be in your 50s, I'm talking to you, Misa, crashing out over a rapper. As somebody that's been associated to the music industry for as long as you have, could it possibly be that the album's not coming out because the album is not that good. And this is my own 2 cents. Vado doesn't look like a YN. Doesn't look like a YN. You mean to tell me you trying to get us to believe that by Mary holding up the album, that is restricting his ability to make money? Something tells me he's probably got mucho mixtapes that he could tour off of, do little spots, probably has a following, hence probably why he got signed to the label to begin with. But here you are in your 50s, pushing, trying to push this $5 million suit. And I'm thinking to myself, it's just not worth it. To essentially like kick your homegirl down, kick your homegirl while she's already down, and not even think, what the hell? We are halfway through 2025. If he recorded that album almost 2 years ago, there's not even an EP or a single or anything of that nature. It's just not worth it, Misa. Like, on the strength of a 25, 30-year friendship with the Mary J. Blige, who has already gone through her share of shit, we want to crash out over this rapper? So let's say it actually makes it, well, I mean, the relationship's already severed. Like, let's say it makes it to court. Or let's say it settles. You know, you settle or whatever. Could you honestly walk up to any person on a New York City street and ask them about Vado? Ask them, are they looking forward to the album? What's the Vado? It's just sad all around. Like, I just could not imagine. Like, this woman is on tour, literally to pay alimony to a man that did her dirty. But that's not to say I didn't see that coming. The business relationship between the two of you rears its ugly head again. Like, it's the same pattern. First of all, before I move on, ladies, executives, and men too, executives and managers, please put a chastity belt on you at all times when you're around your artists. It's just never good for business to mix the two. The cat and the cash. Because you will end up doing what most folks do. Putting 20 on 10. Putting too much dip on your chip. And possibly severing not only the business relationship, but the friendship of one of your day ones. But I feel like there is something deeper here. Like, there's more in this. Like, I would like to think that Misa's not that simple. And I definitely don't want to think Mary is that simple. Even though a lot of y'all out there on the streets and in the comments are like, well, the lady can't read. That's how she in the situation to begin with. I don't make the news. I just discuss what's going on. So what? Breach of contract, emotional distress, and some other stuff. Claims that private conversations on yachts. I didn't know Mary had a yacht, and something with her bodyguard. I would like to see this bodyguard. I would like to see this bodyguard, and I would like to see this $5 million lawsuit just go away, because it's just not worth it. Like, it is just, like I said, so sad that women are and men are crashing out at their ages, especially over some hood dick. I mean, at the end of the day, if the album is not good, it's just not going to come out. Like, I just don't think, I can't think of any other reason Mary would or her label would be withholding the album from release. I just don't know. It's kind of crummy, though. It's just really crummy that we're doing this to each other. Not trying to get up here on no Jesse Jackson type shit, but this was not on my bingo card. Not on my bingo card for these two women, one to come after the other. And some of y'all are saying that this is the kind of shit is why MJ and Lil Kim fell out. I don't know if there's any truth to that. Because what kind of business were they doing? $2025. So, switching gears for a little bit. You know, unless we acknowledge the history in this country, it's bound to repeat itself. Shedeur Sanders, this whole situation around Shedeur Sanders, congratulations to him first and foremost for being selected 5th for the Cleveland Browns. Shedeur Sanders, the son of Deion Sanders, a iconic, legendary football player. Shedeur Sanders himself, a football quarterback. They could not wait when they couldn't wait to pull the narrative out there, put all this different kind of stories out about Shedeur Sanders in the path leading up to this moment, right? Like I said, I was this close to minding my African American business. Here you have Shedeur Sanders, who qualifies on all the variables for a Nepo baby, right? But the difference between Shedeur Sanders and anybody else that is part of that term is that Shedeur Sanders works, he has the talent, he has the potential, and he's just all around great. Earlier this week, when I first saw the story about, I guess, them wanting him to fall during the draft picks and everything, and allegedly there were calls being made to get him out of I believe, the draft altogether. It's almost like people were banking on him to fall, because right after that there was these claims about, the arrogant attitude, the not having an agent, him treating the executive meetings, and when they come to the sidelines to watch and everything, treating it like a field trip and not like an interview. Like, it's not lost on me, the demographic. I don't even have to pull up a picture to know what they look like, and B, how they keep repeating history when it comes to black athletes. When I think of the Shedeur Sanders treatment and the situation around it, it's like they're focused more on your hair than your talent and your stats and your ability, which is what they should be focused on, and what I thought they would be if he were white. Oh, but no. Apparently, if you have an attitude that they don't agree with, or you have a free will and individuality about yourself, it's a negative thing. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what you would call breaking the buck. We could have the confidence that our European counterparts have, or our Oriental counterparts have the talent, have the history and the stats, which should be the focus on all sports games. Yet they're focused on shit that you don't see. I thought y'all wanted us to just play ball. I thought y'all just wanted us to shut up and just throw ball, dribble, hit the ball, shoot the ball, kick the ball, swim, jump high, make the three, do the defense, shoot the two, don't foul anybody, hit the tennis ball, hit the golf ball. I thought y'all wanted us to just do that kind of stuff. But here's the thing. From the takeaways that I have when it comes to this kind of stuff, along with other people that look like me, is that they wouldn't have a problem if Shedeur Sanders was from a low-income family, a low-income household, essentially a person that needs them. And it would be, if that was the case, it would be a more charitable, menial attitude. Like, here we are pulling them up under sea level to this situation. This is great for them. And unfortunately, we have a history of playing into that. And whether we're aware or not, and they love that shit. They love it. Some, not all. I mean, there are still some well-meaning people out there. But what really bothers them is that here you have somebody that is from a legacy. His father's Deion Sanders. From status, his father's Deion Sanders. From affluence, his father's Deion Sanders. And I was probably in grade school when Deion Sanders was a big deal. But Deion Sanders didn't stop at retirement from football. And we had even talked about on the podcast how they were trying to railroad him as a football coach. It's same script, different cast, pretty much. Oh, you're just too cocky, you're just too confident, you're just too this. The work speaks for itself, though. Like, if you've worked, and this, I would say this to anybody, if you've worked your ass off in the same venue for years, the same space for years, it's not entitlement. It's entitlement when you haven't and you expect another person to give up something for you. That's entitlement. And that's the same thing here. Like, Deion Sanders, Shador Sanders, is doing all the work. And you got people from the sideline coming to the front line talking about, you doing too much. You gotta come up, they'll try little things. And the primary example is by way of narrative. And then on top of that, you got a white football player whose father, I think, is one of the coaches or a sheriff or something. It's always a sheriff. Pulling pranks on Shador Sanders. And it's like any other situation, I would have been like, okay, but what was the point? And here's the thing, like when people found out it was you tried to disappear on social media. But we know it was you. Are you threatened? Like, what are your stats, white boy? Any attempt to, dim the light or the shine, they will definitely try. And I'm sure there will be no repercussions to this other person. I'm sure there would be no repercussions to this white boy. But he went out, Shador Sanders went out and partied the moment the news came out that he got drafted by the Cleveland Browns. And the stories then, they always got to put in that detail that it was with Louis Vuitton bags and all this other stuff. So, you don't even want a Louis Vuitton bag. You just want to put somebody on blast about their business. Hateration and holleration in this dancery. I don't really follow football and stuff like that, but I do know bullshit when I see it. Y'all try to give LeBron James hell. Y'all try to give, like I said, Deion Sanders hell. Like, not realizing this is exactly the reason why they don't move like everybody else. And let's be quite honest. You don't care about these people as people. It's really all about just the ball, really. I mean, since you're so hype, why don't you get on the court? Why don't you get on the field and show us your stats? What's your status at the bank? What's your status? History keeps repeating itself. Breaking the buck. The confident, assertive, intelligent, talented, hardworking, ambitious black person. I should be focusing on the ball. It probably wasn't smart, though, for him to gallivant and trollop around without an agent. And everybody has this opinion that, oh, they would have given him the insight. But it's like, maybe his daddy is his agent. You don't think Deion Sanders isn't giving his son and his sons the advice? Showtime, Sanders, who's been around the world now, yeah. Y'all think he's giving him the insight? I missed the Foxy Eye Feast podcast. I am going to continue to be of the mindset that calling people out on their bullshit will make it harder for them to hide it. And this is just another case I can't believe we're here in this time. Like this is crazy to me. Suppose I'm talking to these NFL people. Suppose you got what you wanted. That Shedeur Sanders doesn't draft as high, didn't draft at all. And you're left with what, though? I mean, yeah, he got drafted by the Cleveland Browns, but I think they already have a QB. So there's no telling if he'll get as much play as he should. And not on the strength that he is Deion Sanders' son, but because he's that damn good. It's not always mutually exclusive, but to these other folks that were causing a ruckus on the path to this man being drafted, if it wasn't him, who was it going to be? Whether people want to believe it or not, people that are anti-us show their slips. They may be crafty or they may think they're the smartest person in the room, but they show their slips when they opine as much as they do. Or there is a certain tone or a theme in the opinion. Is it really that serious? Because if it's not somebody like Shedeur Sanders, you're going to end up with something or somebody or a lot of somebodies that are mid. In a year from now, 6 months from now, halfway through the next or upcoming season, I bet y'all gonna be eating crow. And I'm a good predictor. Should give me a little psychic hotline. And no matter what your age is, 30, 40, or 50, it's dick ain't worth crashing out over and possibly losing a 30-year friendship. It's Mr. Fox Afterfeast podcast. I'm back for a little bit. I'm going to try to be back more each week, depending on how much bullshit's out here. I'm not going to talk about any and everything, just certain things. And I found these two things to be worth talking about. Follow and subscribe to the YouTube channel where you're watching this. Get locked into the podcast wherever you get your podcast. I Refuse podcast, Usual Suspects podcast, and I might dust off the I Refuse podcast after dark for a new season coming this fall. In the meantime, between time, we will catch you guys later. Peace.
You let a penis penetrate your friendship. A penis!
Fendi, like the bag. This is the